anybody that joins later, they can catch the beginning on the on YouTube, because I'm going to post this on YouTube. So I would like to start by saying thank you for joining this last bit of the People in Clinical Trials webinar. And today we have two guests who have participated in clinical trials before. So we'll just be having a conversation, and if you have any other question at the end, you can just feel free to unmute yourself and then ask a question. So welcome to Tumelo and Vuyisa. If you can just unmute yourself and just quickly just introduce yourself, and then we'll just dive into the questions. Tumelo, you can
Hello.
start.
Yes, my name is Tumela, and I'm a pharmacist working in a public hospital in Lephalale.
Thank you, Tumelo. Vuyisa.
Oh, sorry, I've been talking and I muted myself. I thought I already unmuted. Okay. Quickly, hi guys. In case you are hearing some children in the background here, it's my neighbor's kids. They're busy playing outside my house, so you might just hear them screaming outside. Name is Vuyisa. Sorry.
No, you can go ahead.
Oh, I think maybe somebody was unmuted there. Yes. Yeah. I'm currently a CRA now. Well, I don't know if everybody is maybe familiar with that little abbreviation there, but a CRA is a clinical research associate, or work with IQVIA. Yeah, I think that should be about it for now.
Cool.
Perhaps everything else I'll cover in the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So firstly, I would like to find out from the both of you, when did you hear of clinical trials for the first time? And I'll start with you, Vuyisa.
Well, to be honest, for me, it was not even a matter of knowing that it's clinical trials, but initially I was back in varsity when I found out. I did my varsity in UOFS in Bloemfontein. So at the campus, there's like a clinical site that's well, it's run by I don't know if you're familiar with Parexel, but it was
Yes.
Parexel at that time. It's soon changed to now. I think it's recently changed to Pharmops or something like that. Yeah. So there's a clinical trials site that they run there. So found out what, yeah, I think I was like in my first year or second year or so when I was in Pastor.
Okay, cool. And Tumelo? Can you hear me, Tumelo? Okay. So while we're still waiting for Tumelo. Okay, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I had
We're struggling to hear you. I think there's a network coverage there. Do you want to maybe move somewhere? Because we're struggling to hear you. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's just move on with the questions, and I'll just ask Vuyisa to respond, and we'll check on Tumela just a little bit later, just so that maybe she's in a better position to, so that we can hear her. So Vuyisa, and you want to maybe tell us about your experience on...
You guys hear me?
No, Tumela, we can't hear you. We are struggling. Okay, she just got kicked out. Vuyisa, if you can just maybe just give us, your experience in general, your experience as being a participant on a clinical trial. How was it?
Okay. So because I participated twice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Both times it was, I think they were doing like a generic version of a pain tablet. The one that I did not make the inclusion criteria on was one about like something of vision. I don't know what medication they were doing for sight, for eyesight. So that one I didn't make the inclusion criteria. I think my ranges in terms of the physical examinations, I wasn't making the cut there. But yeah, the first time, I don't know, it was weird because even my finding out was just, it was random. Friends of mine were talking about how we can just go and participate in this thing. We used to laugh at ourselves, call ourselves guinea pigs for this thing, but because it was at our institution, so we thought it's something that is related to the institution. I've only just found out actually recently that it's actually something running on its own, doesn't have anything to do with the university. So however, it was, the medicals were with the usual you get when you go to GP if you got a flu and all that, and then they explain everything. I didn't at first, I didn't understand what because everything is just medical terms, just trying to get from start to the end. So the consenting part of it for me was just a dude. If you think I'm healthy enough to get part in this thing, then I'll do it. If you think I'm not fit enough, then let me go.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first I made the card. We got into some friends of mine. We were in a clinic. I think we were in a clinic for like 2-3 days.
Yeah.
But for us, it was a matter of we just in here. We don't know what they're doing. We don't really care because the end for us, the payment, the money that they were paying for the participation was. And
so
student and you're in somebody offers you something. Yeah.
So money was your biggest motivator for participating, and I mean, it was you were still a student back then. How much was it?
That first one was about what, 7K. I think it was about 7K at that time. That was back in what, 2009. Yeah. So
and this was a phase one.
Phase 3, I believe. I think it was a phase 3 trial. I was looking for those documents if I still have them, but I think I've since sent them home, like those consents that I signed on, because I kept them over the years. So that first one, I can't really recall anything that I was with. It was just a regular, being in a clinic, they draw blood, and then that's about it. The second one, however, the one, I don't know if you remember the other time when we had the one of training was mentioning somebody died in the clinic. So yeah, that one put us off a little bit, because now we're like, yo, we thought it's not enough. You take it shouldn't be, but now people are dying. Maybe there's a bit of need to understand. That one was a bit uncomfortable now over the whole trial, was like, hey, we thought we were just taking like a generic medication of pain. So I don't know why now it becomes an issue like that. Yeah,
I guess it's because
but overall the whole the trial itself, it was okay.
Yeah, I guess it's because it's still a clinical trial anyway, so they are still doing research and investigations. And Tumela, you are back. So I was just asking Vuyisa to give us his overall experience, and maybe you can also take us through your experience.
Okay, my network is really bad. Excuse me.
Yes, we can hear you clearly now.
With the trial that we did, I was still in university. I was doing my first year of master's, and they were testing a new sunscreen that was being produced by, I don't know if should I say, well, a renowned.
You can skip that,
company. Yes, a renowned company in South Africa. So they're testing out a new sunscreen, and we were just helping out a colleague of ours because she asked us if we can just take part in the clinical trial for her.
So you were never interested in ever being a clinical trial participant, only because your friend asked?
Yeah, I was just nonchalant about it. I really wasn't looking to take part in a clinical trial. Yeah. If the
But
opportunity came, I would definitely help out, but I wouldn't
yeah,
go out looking to
looking for
join
it.
one.
Yeah. But weren't
Yeah.
you scared? Because I mean, being a lady and your skin is very important to you, and they're testing out this new, medication on your skin.
Mhm.
Were you not afraid?
Initially, I was a bit skeptical. But she just assured us, like, if there were to be any reactions,
Mm.
it wouldn't be so bad. And unless someone was maybe allergic to the ingredients of the sunscreen, but besides that, it shouldn't be even be a worry. And it was not everyone who was going to be applied the actual sunscreen. It was, I think, I'm not sure if it's a double blind. It was a
Okay,
blind
it was
set.
a placebo
Some,
as well. Okay.
yes, some way just being applied the placebo.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
So I'm just shocked that Visa mentioned that they got around 9K, and that was back in 2009. We only got like 400 bags for
Yes.
that.
Yeah, Vuisa maybe can come in there, but because I think I'm assuming it was a phase one trial because usually phase one trials they pay these huge amounts
Yes,
of money.
yeah.
Yeah. Vuisa, but also before we go, I give Waze an opportunity while we still have you on the line and well connected. Would you consider participating in a clinical trial ever again? Like, let's say, you hear about it and it's your interest, the area that you're interested in. Would you consider participating in a clinical trial and why?
It would depend. If it's something that might jeopardize my health,
Yeah,
I might not take part in. But if it's not too invasive, then I wouldn't mind taking part in.
yeah.
Yeah, but
But you're
10 times out of 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't.
okay. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a scary thing, to just subject your body to something that you're not even sure what's going to happen to your body after
Yeah.
you're exposed to it.
Yeah, but
So just taking your chances.
being a pharmacist, you appreciate that we need clinical
I,
trials
I
before.
do, I
So,
do, and I appreciate the people that actually take part in those, because
mm,
all drug testing has to go through clinical trials.
yes,
So you need, all those volunteers that just come up and try and help out.
yeah. Okay,
Mm.
fantastic. So Vuisa, if you can just unmute yourself and then maybe just tell us, would you consider participating again, and why are you? What are your reasons?
Yeah. Look, I was just gonna jump in into what Tumelo was just saying right now.
Yes.
Where you're subjecting your body into something. Look, there was a time, I think at the same time that I was participating on my one. They were testing like an asthma treatment of some sort. So like a couple of people were worried, is it gonna induce now asthma? Because like, understanding asthma, it's the blockages of the airways.
Yes.
So this medication, according to what they have written in the informed consent, I think that's like the protocol. They explaining how it's what is this it's biochemical reaction, how it's gonna work. So if you think it's gonna be opening the airways when they've closed up, but your airways are not closed because you're healthy, so what is it gonna
Yes.
do?
Yeah.
So people are asking those sort of questions at the informed consent session. But it's safe to say for me, because of the knowledge that I have now, I wouldn't mind. I think the only thing that would stop me now is conflict.
Interesting.
But besides that, if it's anything, because I know at what level I will be consenting and what will they be running. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
Mm.
They don't give you anything that will induce something that you didn't have.
Yes.
So it's more like buying grandpa. That's how I used to take it. If you buy Disprin, there is the contraindications on it.
Mm.
Those things are not guaranteed that they won't happen to you just because it's at the market. So
Yes.
you go in knowing that there's a possibility of getting nauseous, or you get a headache or a running stomach or whatever. It's
Mm.
still roughly the same thing.
Yeah.
That's why I think at a phase where I know it should already be tested to humans, I think with my knowledge, I would consider it.
Mhm. Yeah, no, fantastic. I mean, I also I'm a bit skeptical. In fact, I don't think I would participate in a clinical trial unless it's a life-threatening situation. I'm in desperate need of medication, and I cannot have it anywhere else. I think that's the only time I'll consider it. We have a few guests, so I can just maybe ask them to unmute themselves and give a comment or ask a question, or also maybe they should just also tell us if they would consider participating in a clinical trial and why. You can raise your hand and unmute yourself if you are confident and comfortable with sharing, or if you have a question for Vuyisa and Tumelo. Going once, going twice. Okay, and that's it. There are no questions. So I'm just going to ask Tumelo and Vuyisa if they have any question or any closing comments, then we can wrap it up. Let's start with you, Tumelo. You are still on mute, so if you can just unmute yourself.
Yes, for me, basically, it's just, how much we appreciate people who take part in clinical trials and to have all these drugs being tested. And, if given the chance, I would definitely help out. And just, it's not too much of a big of a deal. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we really do need to applaud individuals that
Yeah.
participate in these trials. They play a very
You know,
significant role.
yeah, to help out even people that they don't even know. They don't even need to. Some don't even need
Yes.
to go through all these clinical trials,
Yeah.
and then they do, and it's really helpful.
Mm. All right, Vuyisa, your last comments or whatever say you have.
Yeah, look, for me, like even now, with my friends that I'm still in contact with in Bloom, I still sometimes tell them, look, go there, go find out, because sometimes they'll send in like SMS. I think because I'm still in their database, they'll send me SMSs saying that something is going on. I can refer somebody. I refer, especially my friends that are just still hanging around, not doing anything. Like, yo, go there. You, in a sense, I think you're benefiting something, because I take it as though that's a free full body medical exam.
Yes.
That's something that you get paid for if you had to go to a doctor and go checked up. So they go thorough. You will be checked everything from head to toe, just so they can see that you will make the inclusion criteria, because those criteria are strict.
Yeah.
And
Look, I think it's
if you
very.
were to go to a doctor, he'll tell you, no, you're fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
the
you
doctor, normally the GP will tell you, no, man, you're okay, because
yeah.
you're within acceptable ranges of health. But when you go to a clinical trial exam, they are strict on whether you think it was something small, that they will tell you this won't be enough. So I think to some extent, if you wanna also know how far on the health end you are, then it's safe to do. Like again, but like I said, um, they won't give you anything that will expose you to a condition you didn't have. That's the upside of it. And then another positive is that you're also helping to gather data about the new that might help people that are in need. So I would encourage people to take part. Obviously, do your research. The consent form, read it if you do decide to participate. That I would encourage. Ask the questions at the consenting session. If you don't understand and if you feel comfortable, it's ask the investigator to explain. But like I said, for me, the first time it was a matter of, okay, do I make it or do I not make that? I didn't really care about the nitty-gritties of the whole process. But because now I know, I suppose what I know about clinical trials, then I would encourage people more to get the knowledge right and then participate in the trials.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to maybe add on what you said, it's that's another benefit of being a clinical trial participant, that you get all these medical examinations and they are for free. It's a benefit that you get for being a participant on a
Exactly.
clinical trial,
It's like
and
donating blood.
Yes, yes. And
Yes,
they can pick up something that you generally lived with, but you were not aware of. And then you can get help
exactly.
from there. Your life,
Mhm.
can be saved by being a clinical trial participant. And also by saying, if this medication becomes successful and you are receiving a product that is active, you have already received that product. You don't have to go and buy it. So it's a benefit that participants get, although it is a risk that they take, because there are risks and benefits, but we know that the benefits have to outweigh the risks, and that's why we have regulatory authorities to review and approve these clinical trials.
True.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for taking your time out to spend 30 minutes or more or less 30 minutes with us and sharing your experiences. And yeah, have a good evening. And thank you, everybody that joined. We'll see you again next year, 2021.